Hello. Greetings. Alright. So today I mentioned that I would do some video, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to see if I can tweak my input. So instead of here, what you're seeing from my my camera will be actually the screen for the video playing. So experiment. But I did a quick little bit of video last night because I wanted to have some like record of process for anyone who is still interested in seeing that vinyl. I didn't capture very much of the video. Instead of splicing together two separate videos, like maybe like a time lapse of like weeding through the vinyl that's getting rid of all the extra little bits that you don't want to transfer, and applying it. Instead, what I did was I had one piece weeded through all the way. So I applied that one, which I should have grabbed a new piece of transfer tape. That one was pretty weak, and I found that like the vinyl for the dry erase vinyl feels like it's a little bit stronger adhesive-wise than the regular vinyl is. I don't know if that's perception or just like compared to how weak my transfer tape was, because I'd been reusing that piece a couple times. But anyways, yeah, that was a little bit of a process watching that, especially with the really fine lines for the dice. So that took a little bit of time. I'm going ahead and hopping over now to go ahead and add that video file, see if it'll work. This will just be back up in right in that folder because I moved it. I thought today was going to go so easy because my little man decided he was going to take a nap right at the beginning of the stream. But as soon as I moved, poof, he's awake. Like, okay then. Alright, so yes, there it is. I'm going to stretch this across the whole screen. Whoa. And my for the process that I mentioned video's already playing. Hold on. Yesterday. I'm gonna hit pause. There we go. Alright, so I'm going to open that up while that is playing, because it is fairly short. Well, actually, no, it looks like it's 18 minutes. I'm going to probably cut off the ending of it, because weeding is weeding. It's like there's not a whole lot of tricks to it, but you can see a couple spots where I use the tool pretty flat. The only talking bit is that very beginning of the opening, so I'm gonna stretch that out here. This is probably as fancy as I'll ever get with video editing, but I'll go ahead and restart that, and I'll let that go. The thing is, I put my cold wax medium away, and there's two different places they can be. It's not terribly difficult to get to them, but it's going to take a little bit of like fumbling and rifling through. So that's why I was like, you know what? I'm going to start with this video first. That'll buy me a couple moments. I will also talk about process after I come back from that, just in case there's anything that's not like visually clear. Oh, I left a can on my desk from yesterday. Ew. I'm not really good about removing those, but I will need to move that. I will deal with that later. Oh yeah, that's right. So I also want to pause the music because I did have music playing for the video, so we don't want to double that stream and have that be kind of probably annoying. So I will do that, and we'll just get back into my little menu thing. Hit refresh, and I'm going to be muted. This is going to be video me now talking. So I'm doing this a little bit backwards. I'm going to show you the transferring the weeded vinyl onto here, and then I'm going to weed the other section. Both sides of this have already been painted, but I'm about to like go ahead and give the gift, so I just need to weed and transfer the vinyl, and this way the video will be a little bit shorter because I'll show you the full transfer and then just a little bit of weeding so you get a general idea. So here we go, and thanks so much for joining me. Alright, so LiveMe is back while the video is playing. I actually misplaced my Cricut scraper tool. I know it's going to pop up somewhere at any point. So for the meantime, I'm just using, at the time I was using a credit card for this video. I might just grab the dollar store one because I think it's a similar shape. I kind of like how that one feels, but I'm kind of like, it doesn't matter to me either way. So it's handy either way to have a tool for that purpose. And at this point, the rest of it is quiet. Alright, and hopping on to the Twitch. Hello everybody's. We have no chats in the Twitch at the moment. I did go ahead and dig out one of my things of cold medium, which is why it's pretty much one of two places. I have a larger set from before, not larger set, a larger container of it, and then I got the Gamblin oil mediums assortment, and that way I could test a bunch of different mediums, but it happened to have more cold medium in it, so I'm just going to use that little container. I kind of wish, actually I might have control for it. I might have a control to speed this up, because you can see with these dice, those super fine lines were just not really sticking well. A lot of times you see, like, because the transfer tape isn't picking stuff up, I'm just really rolling back on that protective film and then just grabbing the corner to stick it onto the transfer tape, and to hopefully get that parked in place just long enough for it to transfer well. Because yeah, at this point I'm realizing, where did one of my die go that's supposed to be on this sign? Like, I didn't go anywhere. Where is it? I find it on the side of my hand in a moment here. There we go. Like, cringe. This was a longer and more tedious process than I had liked. Let's see. This is only like 4 minutes in, but you could kind of get the gist of the process, and it's taking just forever because the adhesive on that vinyl is seeming a lot stronger than the adhesive for the transfer tape. And for the transfer tape, it's supposed to be sticky, but it's not supposed to be like hardcore, because it's only supposed to hold on to stuff long enough for you to go ahead and put it down on your project. But I struggled with this stuff. I don't see an option to speed up my playback. I was hoping I did. You know what, I might go ahead and just fast forward a little bit. So you see the gist of the process, and I think it's kind of silly to just watch me struggle with this stuff for like probably like a good 10 minutes. That's probably most of this video is me fighting with this thing than actually weeding the vinyl. Weeding the vinyl went remarkably easy, other than these really fine lines for the dice. I did have trouble weeding around them a little bit. I had to be really careful to use the weeding tool to go ahead and press the edge of the die part down, like where that skinny line work is, to go ahead and get it separated from the larger sheet of vinyl. So that was fun. Alright, I'm gonna jump ahead probably a minute or two. We'll just see where I'm at. Oh, we already have most of the transfer done. Alright, I'll back up a little bit. Went a little too far, a little too far. Alright, so once it's down, I did this in 2 sections because I just used the one piece of transfer tape that I had sitting at my desk instead of digging out the roll for the new one, because my Cricut supplies are slightly less accessible than some of my other materials, just because I don't use the Cricut very often. It doesn't warrant being like right there, easy access for me. Ideally, when we have a bigger space, it will be a lot easier for me to get to. What I'll probably do is get like one of those microwave carts. I'll probably set it up over there because those are a handy height for me to work from. But yeah, you can see the one transfer, and then that eye, the dot for that eye had shifted. So I sit there and just try to peel it up just enough so I can catch it and slide it back into place. But yeah, that part goes amazingly simply because, like I said, the vinyl itself has such stronger adhesive. Now you can see I'm trying to go ahead and scrape it, see if maybe the transfer tape will pick it up. I know this is unlikely, but I figure I was going to try that before I wind up gouging into the wood accidentally. So at this point, I do manage to peel up a corner, and it's about to happen. There it is. I managed to get a corner. Now once I have that corner, pressing the tool down, pressing on the vinyl against the tool, so it's stuck to the tool pretty well and I could get it arranged correctly. And then I just do a secondary transfer for the last die and the letter T. Great. So at this point, nothing new here. I'm going to skip ahead again. We'll go into some of the weeding, which should be like right about here. Nope. Burnishing characters. Just burnishing everything down. Any spots where maybe there was a little bit of a bubble, anything like that going on, yeah. Ready to move ahead. Alright, so then pop that down. I have this ridiculous little fly bugging me. Alright, and now we're going into the new piece of vinyl that's cut. I think at first you see me try to take it off at the corner. Yeah. It's weird doing like a play-by-play of like stuff that I already did. I feel like voiceovers would probably be more awkward for me than just talking while I do the thing. Whereas like if I'm going to like a professional capacity, like doing course stuff maybe at some point in the future, I will probably have to go that route. I'll probably have to record it voiceovers at night. So But I noticed I have this little bubble. Decided to go ahead and use that to grab on and get this piece started. Now, one thing that's off to the side that you don't see is this nice little pair. I think they're by Fiskars. I'm grabbing them now so I can look. Yeah, these are Fiskars titanium non-stick. These little scissors are so handy when you're dealing with weeding. And yes, you can use the Cricut ones. The Cricut ones are nice too. They have a really sharp point, so if you want to get in with a sharp detail, cool. But I like the titanium stick scissors because they're non-stick, so I don't have issues with like adhesive getting built up on there. But you'll see that I'm trimming sections, so because of how intricate this one is, I didn't want to try to get it all in one piece because sometimes what happens is it curls back and it sticks down on the surface, and then you have to re-peel that whole section anyway. So I like to go ahead and trim as I go to help steer like how the project is going. So you'll find some things like you could just peel off like most of the sheet in one go and it's super easy, but this had like a lot of little spots that did not want to just pop up for me. On these really skinny spots, you'll see occasionally the vinyl just tears, which worked out, but be careful when you're doing that. Sometimes they do not tear in your favor. Sometimes it will distort the actual vinyl that you're trying to transfer, and then you're going to have to recut your piece. So that's why I like to use the scissors. I'd rather know that I'm causing it to break when I want it to break. So some spots were really nice. They peeled really clean. Yeah, the only issue I had was like that where you see the edges of the dye popping up. Some of those edges are open. You'll see that on the finished piece. I still have it here. I was still dealing with sealing it. So I have one layer of the sealant on each side. My roommate happens to have gone out to a friend's house, so I'm going to get a second coat of sealant on it. I was thinking like, oh yeah, I'll just gift him that today. Because, I did things like go to sleep last night. So I wound up a little behind schedule with getting the last coats of sealant on, but now I can slap those on and there's plenty of time to dry. They shouldn't be back before I get another 2 coats, 1 per side, done. So we shall see. I probably will put a coat on during the stream, just for 1, you guys get to see that part of the process, and for 2, because I have to like still be working on this for the next like 2 hours. So a little bit of weeding. I wanted to leave this on for a little bit of the detail work so you could see like some of the sections where there's like die cutouts. And when I say die, it's not like a die cut like a metal object cutting. It's just because these are literally dice in the image. Definitely let my nerd flag fly, and my friend is very much so a nerd too, so that's fitting. We're a house full of D&D nerds. Well, other games too. My daughter is big into Roblox now on her tablet. She's big into playing a couple different things on the PlayStation 4 at the moment. So like stuff like Fall Guys, occasionally Destiny 2. She likes to just run around shooting people. What else? Lots of Plants vs. Zombies. We have, I think there's only 2 of them. She played the app very briefly with me on one of my Kindles. And she liked it, so she's gotten more Plants vs. Zombies now. I had those still on my tablet from when my son was little, which is potentially embarrassing for him. I hope not, but yeah, he's 16 now. We've been into that game for a long time. It's a lot of fun watching them and see how their interests change over time. And actually, I will be at some point working on my character for my D&D character. I'll go ahead and do a portrait image. Right now I went ahead and have a screenshot of like the image from a miniature site, and I'm blanking on the name of them because I'm not looking at the picture right now. Alright, I'm just gonna... Oh, this is about to cut off anyway in 30 seconds. Okay. So my ramble worked out. So now you can see some of the detail areas starting to come to life. And then, yep, bye! It's like, ah, yes, thank you, video me. This is so surreal. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and delete this off. I hit the wrong button. Give me a second. Do remove. Yes. Alright, so back to real life me. Hello! This is so weird. Alright. So I did get my little Gamblin media assortment. This is where I got that container of the Gamsol from. A nice convenient little size. I like these little sizes for being at my desk. So I haven't needed to order more of any of these media yet, but if they are sold normally in like a larger size, I would keep these little bottles probably to go ahead and refill, because I like the convenience of smaller things at my desk. 1, because I'm accident prone. If I knock over 2 ounces, but there's like another 8, the rest of the container is like an 8 ounce or a 16 ounce and it's not on my desk, cool. I still have that medium. I didn't run out of it because I'm, guilty of knocking stuff over. So, in situations where that's possible, I do like to decant things into smaller containers if they're things that sit open. So it's just wasting less stuff is nice because I don't like to buy things if I don't need to. I'd rather buy new fun things and explore rather than dealing with that. So I'm just opening up this case because this should be what we're going for. Cold wax medium. And I have a nice fluffy brush here that I use for my oil media. Or at least I believe that's the brush that I use for my oil media that wound up in my regular watercolor container. I'll just check on that in a moment. I got this assortment. Wow, I can English. I got this assortment because I have a set of. I'm going to leave this on screen while I ramble. Because I have some oil pastels. I'm not a big oil pastel user, but I thought these would be fun to use with them because of the oil base of the oil pastels, that I can go ahead and do like more like literal painting effects. I can thin it down, I can do line work, I can do brush work, and I can get that finer detail. That's the big thing that I didn't like about just oil pastels right off the stick. It's fine if you're doing really large and abstract, but I don't like sharpen them because I feel like that would be wasteful. So I felt like I wasn't getting that tight detail for like little fine spots. I would go ahead and try to draw a shape onto this paper that I was working on, and it would just it would be like a millimeter over in the wrong direction because I couldn't see where the edge of that stick was with the degree of accuracy of what I was looking for. So this is something I'm definitely looking forward to playing with more. It is generally on my not so immediate list, and that's because I know that there's things that affect drying rates, and generally I don't want to spend a lot of time drying. So while I have it and I still have the oil pastels, I'm probably not going to break all of this out right away. So I've been using it, the other elements, because they are compatible for other media. So for example, the Gamsol, I was using that for dissolving colored pencil on some other multimedia work. And in the case of the cold wax medium, that is great for sealing watercolors. Let's see, this is made from naturally white beeswax and Gamsol. Cold wax makes oil colors thicker and more matte. Cold wax holds thick, expressive marks and allows artists to cut or scrape back into paint layers. Used thinly, it gives colors the beautiful translucent quality of encaustics. I've seen some encaustics up close, and they're gorgeous how the light just glows through them. Danger, combustible. Well, I'd imagine so. Contains petroleum distillates. Yay. But let's see. Oh, we're not doing any inhaling of this. But I think I'm ready to go ahead and seal this. I also had the other pieces of vinyl. I started weeding those just so I would be early on a project, which now I'm like, do I want to be doing that project? I'm gonna move my this is my weeding tool that you saw in the video. It looks like a dental pick, and honestly, if you are in a situation where you're visiting your dentist, a lot of times they will have old dentist tools. If you ask them, they may give them to you. So if you're doing sculpting, or if you want other shaped tools for when you're doing weeding for vinyl and other media, that's awfully handy. You can probably use this guy as like if you're doing wood projects, to go ahead and put it like a dot down. Like you can also use a nail for that, or a regular awl, but it's handy for like starting drill bits and whatnot to go ahead and create an early on like indention, so your bit's not just dancing around the surface. So, handy thing. I've probably done a lot more construction stuff than an average person, but definitely not as much as a person actually in construction. I'm going to see how well this is going to spread on for us. I will probably do maybe like a little bit on the edge of a brush to do the edges of the paper once it's been removed. I did notice that when I did some additional glazes earlier, this was much earlier today, what happened, I noticed that this section up top has separated. So I don't know if it's because of how much water that had been used or if maybe it was bumped or something, but yeah, part of this has decided to remove itself from the block. I still want to finish at least giving it the initial coat while it's on the block in case there's any curling, because by suspending it, being secured at least partly on the top and completely on the bottom, it's going to be less likely to deal with any curling if that is a risk. I don't know. This is actually I think it's only the second piece that I've moved ahead to go ahead and seal, if I remember correctly. I haven't used this little jar of cold wax medium. I used my big one on something, and I'm blanking on what it was. I think maybe I did this with a rag. It does move with the brush, so I'm going to go about it with the brush. Worry about cleaning the brush later. I've seen people apply it with a rag before. If you can't tell, I like to look at other artists' processes for different steps that they take for completing projects and whatnot. But this shouldn't go anywhere. This should secure everything down. I probably should have gone over this with a brush. Meaning like a brush to make sure that there's no fuzzies. I don't want to trap fuzzies into my painting. Like up here. Like no matter what I do, there is always dust somewhere. Alright. Oh, I forgot to put the music back on. I'm like, why is it so quiet all of a sudden? Yeah, that's because I'm silly and I forget that I do things. Alright, and that's probably a little loud. Turn that down a little bit. When the video was playing, it was using my computer's media player. Like just pushing the audio through there, and it pushes it at a different volume than my mic. So I would love if anyone watching would go ahead and chime in if this is too loud. It's probably going to take me a couple days to correct that. Move it down a little bit. This is like super dark and ominous, and I'm like sitting here glazing a picture that's themed for spring. It's like, it's just ridiculous. Silliness. And I'm going to take a look. And that song was called Just Married. Yeah. Yeah. Halfway through that song. Suddenly it changes dramatically. Okay then. I guess for whoever was the composer, I'm sorry I forget your name. That getting married is dramatic? I mean, I guess I wanted to express the whole cold feet experience, because that's fun. I'm just starting on this side and working my way over. There's a weird kind of viscosity going on with this, because it is very much so like a very waxy paste as far as how it feels spreading it, which is why you see me kind of taking my time, going over everything a couple times to make sure that enough of it's depositing down before I move on to the next area. I'm just gonna do this whole side first and then slowly work my way over. And just a quick light check, make sure my stuff is at full brightness. don't know why, but the the what's his name? The one light that I keep fighting with, well, I've tried to stop fighting with it. But that light, yeah, I've generally leaving that light alone, but I turn it on so I have more brightness on my desk, and I cannot wait to have a replacement. I need to find that documentation for... Ooh. Actually, at this point, it's past 30 days, so I know I won't be able to return it, but it's part of the whole rig that I'm using anyway. I don't need everything to be replaced. I just need a light that functions in the mode that I want it to. I would much rather have a cool light than this warm light. Or even a medium tone. I feel like this would have been faster with a paper towel. Actually, let's go ahead and try that, because this brushing thing, it's working alright. But you know what? I bet if I do this with a paper towel and you have the warmth from my hands, that this will probably go like twice as fast. Alright, so... Oh yeah, you press into that medium a little bit with the paper towel and it's just like squoosh. Alright, so nice little blob on the end of the paper towel. I'm just gonna kind of wrap it around my finger a little bit, as well as I can, juggling the paper towel this big. Probably should have just gone ahead and done like a half sheet or something. You can feel a difference when you're laying it down, as far as like areas that are definitely covered with a good coat of wax, and then you feel it go really dry as soon as you're in a new area. I don't like the surface pattern thing that's going on though. I will probably go back over it with the brush, just because I don't like the surface texture that's going on with the paper towel. I think I said that twice, I'm sorry. I repeat myself a lot, especially when I lose my train of thought in the middle of talking. But yeah, we're just gonna get this coated with a nice even coat. And then I'm gonna use the brush to come back and like buff out. Whoop, getting off frame. Just use the brush to go ahead and buff that out and fix that texture. So I want that to be nice and even. There's these frackin' little bits of dust in there. That's gonna make me nuts. Alright, so... like right there. I'm actually going to grab that Cricut tool, because this one's like a longer hair than most of the areas of this has. I hope I got it. Nope, there it is. I got it. Alright. Come back over here, get rid of the tool marks. I hope that that little bit of dust is long gone now. I really don't like areas where I wind up encountering a lot of dust, for obvious reasons with my allergies. Like, I'm allergic to pretty much everything indoors and out. Not specifically pets, but I can be because of just their dander overall. so I'm just blotting off onto my brush any extra bits of the cold wax. There's another hair that's kind of significant there. I'll take another one over there. Yeah. Come on, you. And to my knowledge, what the cold wax medium is supposed to do is to go ahead and harden to create a protective coat over the top of the work. So that's why I'm erring on the side of trying to be quick about this, because eventually that Gamsol is going to dissolve and leave the coating on. So I'm trying to move with some speed. You see little bits of wax balls coming up when I'm brushing over. It means that there's still a little too much pigment, well, not pigment, medium on the surface. So I'm just wiping it off. Do another stroke over the top. See if there's any more on. Yeah. And blotting that off to the side. That's probably going to be fun to clean this brush. Alright. It's probably a lot easier for my sanity's sake, just getting the medium applied, where this isn't going to be like sliding out of the way. It's just gonna stay here. And I got one more fuzzy. Come here, you. Alright. Now just a couple more strokes to go ahead and cover that mark. Every time I'm going into the surface and pulling off one of those hairs, like it leaves like a little scratch mark, but it's only in the medium. Like if you are going to use something to dig out like a random fuzzy, just be gentle. You don't want to go ahead and gouge your paper surface. I mean, unless it's a look you're going for. I want my paper nice and smooth. I want this to seem like a nice antique card that's been just left in storage. Even though it's not entirely styled to be an antique. I like the kind of modern take on it. Alright, so now I have a brush that I need to clean. Should be able to clean it with the Gamsol, actually. Just plain old Gamsol. It's funny, I've been looking at this wash brush like, why are you over here? When did I get you? And then I was just getting the that oil medium set out of the containers, like, saw the pack of brushes, like, oh, that's why. You're my only pack of blue-handled brushes because I don't use you for watercolors. You just appeared. Alright, and then I'm grabbing a quick beverage break. So I'm right here, I'm just on mute. Alright, and as always, you're welcome to go ahead and comment. Questions, concerns, you know, anything about process, and anything else that comes to mind. I ramble about a lot during our conversations, or sometimes internal monologues made public. Yeah, you're still full. Alright, good. I like to keep beverages up at my desk because I drink a lot during the day. That sounds bad. I mean, like, generally energy drinks or hydration drinks. I mean, occasionally imbibe, but it's not during, 2 o'clock when I'm streaming. Alright, so right now I'm just setting this brush off to the side, putting it down where I have that paper towel full of the cold wax medium. Cold wax medium's nice and sealed, so that should be fine. I'm gonna show off the finished sign, because I said I would go ahead and show it. This is with a coat of sealant, and it looks like anything that had slightly bubbled during the layout process is a lot better after adding that. And alignment for this one was murder. That's the one that you saw me doing the video of for weeding. So I wound up doing this in like 4 different sections. I should have just stopped and got out a new piece of the transfer tape, but sometimes I'm stubborn. Like I said, my Cricut stuff is slightly more buried, so I was just using what was convenient. And then there's the other side, all finished. And then there's ever so slightly a bubble right there, but the sealer that I'm using for these is a gloss-based sealer. It's actually the Podge dishwasher safe. So it's a little bit tougher than regular Mod Podge, and that's kind of what I was shooting for with this, was something that's going to be able to put up with a bit of abuse, so if it winds up like falling down into cat vomit, stuff like that, because occasionally cats do that, and my roommates have cats, so being prepared. Yeah, so I wanted something that was easy for them to clean. That's something that's always, I feel like, is a welcome thing for a lot of gifts, is just don't make it a burden to own the thing unless they specifically don't mind that type of upkeep on stuff. So I try to be mindful. So I'm so glad with how this looks. There's a very, very slight texture from some of the brush strokes, but it is like, it's a good thing about using a mop for it. Mop brushes are very soft, so there's barely any texture for that. I think at this point I am safe to go ahead and remove this from the block. So with me not having planned this part ahead, I'm going to just gently put my tool over on the edge. I would recommend something flat for this. I'm trying to think, do I have... Yeah, I have my knife over here. I'm just going to use my Swiss card knife. It's fairly clean of adhesive. I tend to use this particular blade more for a box cutter than anything, which is why that comment. I'm just really sneaking in between, because I know this part's already kind of off. Just want to finish running it. Alright, and then throw this over here. That's already peeled most of the way over. I'm just gonna run my blade edge over here. I don't even need to use the blade specifically, because the adhesive for these blocks is like the same as like a glue bound drawing pad. I'll try to get back in frame here. Stuff in the way. Stuff in the way. Alright, slide it over. I actually have the blade backwards right now, so I'm not trying to cut the paper, I'm trying to just peel the adhesive. That makes a difference. Don't want to remove adhesive from the block. And again, cut down into the edge, coming from the side. Just gently bringing it across. And this is the back edge of the blade. This is very flat. If you have palette knives are great for this. My palette knife is the set that I have closest to me is kind of buried, because I don't have my my pan pastel stuff right out. Those are put away. Oop, I might have some adhesive left over. And when this was taped, yes I do. Okay, one minor sticky spot. That's okay. That's just from when I had the masking tape along the edge. So I'll just know to be wary of that later when I'm using this block for more things. Which will be the summertime picture. I was just reaching out to get details for that because I'm excited to get started. Do have other projects I could juggle, like bounce between in the meantime, until I get more details. Because of how that cutter that I have works, the blade is far enough out, I'm not worried about cold wax medium touching any of the surface of this other than the blade itself. So I feel pretty safe in moving ahead and just giving this a trim. I am a little weird about like any mediums touching plastic. I'm gonna move this wash brush off to the side. I forgot to coat that, but I'm trying to get a little more focus back on this again. Both of them are time oriented. I think I want to antique the rest of this paper and turn it into like a pool postcard. I'm going to just gently bring it up here. When I put this down, I still have that gap there. You can see pretty clearly where the cutting line is coming down. Well, between the top and the bottom of the paper. Alright. So, that's an easy. Alright, so that piece is free. Our paper trim got a little gnarly there. I think it's because this is a cotton paper. We got a bunch of lint. Little fibers that came apart when we cut that. If I had... Well, actually my sandpaper is pretty local. I'm gonna grab my sandpaper. Yes, I'm going to sand a piece that I've painted. Nice fat pack of random sandpaper. This is wet dry sandpaper, so that's what I prefer when I'm doing some more hardcore sanding. I'm grabbing a random one that looks a little bit on the finer side. Let's see. What are you, 320? Yeah, 320 grit. And I'm just gonna give this a gentle, just right across the edge. I'm trying to be real gentle about cold wax medium that's probably still wet. Just give this a couple strokes. Sorry, I'm trying to kind of keep it close to me because I want to see what I'm doing. I want to make sure that I'm doing something positive with this. So I'm not really trying to just batter these paper fibers and just having them sit loose. That should be fine. Alright. So now get the paper out of the way. About the sandpaper out of the way. I'm not going to attempt to put that away right now because friction. It'll take me a good 5 minutes just juggling this thing on camera. But I still have the cold wax medium on the paper towel. I'm just going to gently go over that side. Just want to get the brush elevated. I don't want to leave that sitting on my surface. Slide it over so I can hold the piece from the bottom. And just slipped it over to the edge of my table so I can pick it up. And just run it along the edge with the cold medium. And do that with the other sides too. Just trying to be real gentle about touching any of the paper. Nice. My computer says no internet. Let's see how badly this goes. Okay, we'll see how bad these dropped frames are. Yep, I'm into a new session already. Yay! So my video says it's still going, but on the Twitch side it says it's not. So if you are seeing this on Twitch, you can go ahead and see the full video up on YouTube. That's where all of my videos are saved. Because with the lowest tier of the Twitch membership, when you're a video creator, they only hold onto your videos for 14 days. So really, you're going to always see the whole story on YouTube because they're not trying to just delete my content. So there's that. I think I'm going to grab the corner rounder. Just bring this back over here. Go ahead and bring up the corner rounder punch. And so you can see that on this tool. So I want to have that finished edge. So I'm sliding these down. I know the cold medium is probably still wet. I really need to see about moving stuff off the desk. I need vertical space. Yeah, vertical space. Horizontal space isn't bad. I need the vertical space. I have so many brushes sitting on my desk right now. Alright, so bring it around. Oh, does it fit? Maybe just barely. So I kind of want to do this while the cold medium is still somewhat movable. Because if this causes distortions on it, I want to be able to brush those marks out. There we go. Nice. It looks a lot more finished. I like it more. Alright, so... Oh, nice. These are off screen. Alright, let's bring the camera down. We'll come dangling off the edge of my desk, right? Helps if I show things in frame, right? Alright. So try to squish this one down. This one was really affected by that paper tear. And this is like about as thick of a paper as you could shove in here normally. With the cold medium, it's probably not helping. But just push. This one takes a little bit more of a push than a regular cardstock. There we go. Nice edge. This one might be a little finicky too. They all have resistance because of the cold medium. I'm gonna go back under here, just spray this with some rubbing alcohol, because I don't know if the cold wax medium, specifically the Gamsol, might have weird reactions with the plastic. But, like I said, I wanted to have the opportunity to clean up edges if I saw any distortions. Everything looks good. I think we're good. So that is a finished card, and now I'm holding things over here, but the camera is over here. I don't normally have stuff dangling off my desk. Don't want to show off my pajama pants, I guess. I like some fuzzy pajama pants. Alright, so with the corners, good. Yeah, I'm just gonna grab a little bit of rubbing alcohol. I have a little spray bottle. I keep one of water, one of alcohol, all the time, so I can clean up stuff. So the very edge of this touched on the paper towel, so quick clean up there, those edges, and then just going to spray this. And this one's one of those kind of hope for the best kind of scenarios. Get in there. Oop, I already moved you guys back. Alright, see what I'm doing. Kind of get in there as well as I can with the paper towel. We do what we can. But I feel better about that sitting there. The card is looking good. So we could say officially finished. And I'm definitely looking forward to summer. I already know what we're doing with the birds up at the top for summer, and that's going to be orioles with oranges. And I think they are just a nice bright pop of color, which is perfect for summer. Moving this guy off. I see a little bit of like fuzzies up in here, so I just want to do last ditch effort, try to brush those off, especially that one. There we go. I think that is like, leave it alone, leave it alone. We're done. A whole 3 minutes left. That's enough time to slap a paint coat on this. I'm going to slide this over here, so I can go ahead and do that. I think that's cold wax. Grab our candy paper towel. Alright, and so what's going on for tomorrow? This is the time I need to be thinking about that. Just trying to wrap thoughts around in my head about what else needs to be done. I don't know. I haven't done any paper flowers in a while, and there is a rose that I'm supposed to have made. I just haven't done it yet. So here's the Dishwasher Safe Mod Podge. Just a quick dip. And again, if you want to avoid contamination, don't do what I just did. Pour a chunk out in the palette instead of putting a wet brush in there, where if your water's contaminated with anything, it can affect the jar. I have not had this problem. I like to warn people about things that I've heard or read, just because I think it's nice to have that information, even if you ignore it. Right, I'm trying to keep that edge clean. Tend to have lap marks on the side because I'm kind of sloppy with it. I'm just gonna grab this other side. And see, like, just this 1-inch wash brush, this is another of the no-named brushes, like from the like a craft assortment. But it's a good brush for just doing stuff like this real quick. It probably is a little bit streaky. It's just because it's gloss medium, I'm not being the most careful or time intensive, and yeah, sorry I come out of frame because I'm looking at this edge there. I don't want that build up on the other side. And now I have paint on me. Sealer. Alright, so what's tomorrow? You know, honestly, I have not given enough thought to what was happening, because the main thing was to get the spring commission done, and it's done. Here, I'm getting the edges. Alright, I think tomorrow's just going to be a surprise, and just watch out for the going live notification. It'll give you more details. I gotta think about it. I have a lot of projects, and it's kind of like I need to see what I'm in the mood for as far as media. And I'll catch you guys then. Stay creative, and hope you'll join me tomorrow. Bye.